Above all, the vibrant young leaders gathered here today, it's my profound joy and humility that I welcome you to the Young African Leaders Conference 2025. This moment is more than an event. It's a chapter in a continuing story, one that began long before any of us walked into this hall. It's a story written in struggles, dreams, and sacrifice of Africans who believe in a continent free, dignified, united, and prosperous. Let us travel back to May 1963 in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. On that historic day, 32 African nations, newly independent, yet scarred by centuries of colonization and exploitation, gathered under one roof. Out of their vision and courage was born the Organization of African Unity. As Kwame Nkrumah declared on that day, the independence of Ghana is meaningless until it is linked up with the total liberation of Africa. His words remind us that the destiny of each African nation is bound together with the destiny of the continent. That gathering was not perfect, but it was purposeful. It was not without challenges, but it was courageous. It was Africa declaring to the whole world, we no longer wait for permission to rise. We can do it and we can rise better. The African Organization of African Unity planted seeds of liberation, unity, cultural pride, whose fruit still tastes today. Yet, as we sit here 32 years later, we must admit that our work is not finished. The battlefield has changed, but our enemies are no longer colonial masters, but our overdependency, inequality, underdevelopment, and the dangerous notion that African future depends on aid. This is why our team today, Africa's next generation of change makers, leading the shift from aid to sustainable impact, is not a decorative slogan. It is a mission. It's a rallying cry. It is a torch passed from hands of history to the hands of today's youth. This conference is not a usual gathering. It's not simply a date on the calendar. It is a forge, a sacred space where tomorrow's leaders are shaped, sharpened, strengthened for fires of shared vision and innovation. And here, we must face the hard questions. What does it mean for Africa not only to survive without aid, but to thrive through its own ingenuity? Have you asked yourself, what does it mean for Africa to survive without aid, but thriving in its own ingenuity? How do we transform our abundant resources into shared wealth rather than squander potentials? It's a question. How do we turn the pressing challenges of unemployment, inequality, climate change into opportunities for creativity, enterprise, and solidarity? How do we ensure that Africa stops being a story of extraction and aid and becomes a story of innovation and impact led by young people? My brothers and sisters, the shift from aid to sustainable impact is not a luxury, it's an urgent necessity. As Julius Nyerere, the first president of Tanzania, once reminded us, dependence on foreign aid has the danger of turning us into beggars, and beggars do not have dignity. Aid can provide relief, but it rarely rebuilds. Aid may support, but it seldom empowers. Only bold leadership, visionary problem solving, and united action can build the Africa we desire. And that leadership begins with you and I, and it begins with this generation. As Nelson Mandela wisely said, sometimes it falls upon a generation to be great. You can be that great generation. Today, that call is ours. We are a generation that will be moved from dependency to shift. We are a generation that will move Africa from shift to dignity, from poverty to productivity, from aid to sustainable impact. This conference, therefore, is a call to responsibility. It's a call to rise. It's a reminder that leadership is not a throne reserved for tomorrow. It's a duty demanded today. We must also remember the words of Wangari Maathai, the first Nobel Prize winner from Kenya, who taught us in environment, he won that prize many years ago, who taught us that there are opportunities even in the most difficult moments. But this gathering, beware we seize those opportunities with fear. Not with fear, but with boldness, not with hesitation, but with determination. Friends, 50 years from now, when a young African asks you, seated here, asks you a question 50 years from now, where were you when the next generation of change makers was called to this table? What will be your answer? Will you say you stood on the sidelines standing aloof? Or will you proudly say, I took my seat, raised my voice, shared my vision, and shaped the future of this continent? The choice is yours. The time is now. As John Simmons will always say, the actions you do today build the future you want to see. And history, once again, is watching. Therefore, on behalf of the organizing committee of YACON 2025, I welcome you warmly to Young African Leaders Conference 2025. Welcome to a gathering where ideas will become strategies, where challenges will be imaged as opportunities, where networks will be built across borders, and where youth leadership will not be postponed, but executed and exercised today. I urge you to engage deeply, to think critically, to collaborate sincerely, and act courageously. Let us prove through our deliberation